Trump will not be president.
Highly critical, biased text messages between senior FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page.
There will be no question about the outcome of this election.
And she got ahead of herself. This utterly stunned this campaign.
Head home. You should get some sleep. We'll have more to say tomorrow.
Our constitutional democracy enshrines the peaceful transfer of power.
The peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of our democracy. We want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
These declassified documents that were just released.
Officials in the Obama administration were asking for the identities to be unmasked of Americans.
Unmasking of aides and staffers of the incoming president.
The basic charge, political spying.
To disrupt the peaceful transfer of power.
Unmasking of American citizens. It could be a real problem.
Why is it that the unmasking of Flynn somehow ended up in the pages of the Washington Post?
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn.
The vice president said that yesterday, and then the last name on this list is Joe Biden.
The Obama administration was bitter. They wanted to do everything they could to undermine the incoming Trump administration.
Really designed to sabotage and really upend the new administration.
An outgoing president and a vice president and a Washington Post columnist and the FBI setting up an incoming administration. Wow, that's a real conspiracy, and nobody wants to talk about it.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Just to let you know, I'm doing this as a pre-recorded, just for the fact that, once again, Facebook had banned me as of last Tuesday. I only got a 7-day ban. So, unfortunately, I have to do this pre-recorded live on a Monday night. My buddy Sean is just going to post it on my Facebook wall of the StreamYard link. And then, of course, you guys will get the Monday night, real and raw truth with common sense. And obviously, it's always, when it's coming from me, it's obviously common sense. And plus, it's the real truth. Once again, must I say it? Must I say it? Must I say it? Must I say it? But besides myself and Mr. Roland Cerna, when people were all crapping all over Donald Trump about the whole Jeffrey Epstein, everybody from Nino's Corner to even Joe Rogan to every podcaster out there. I besides Benny Johnson, I think maybe Benny and maybe one more person, we're pretty much the only people in the whole social media world that, once again, we said that Donald Trump, when he said, "I'm tired of hearing about the Epstein files," was playing 5D chess. And look what happened, guys. Not only did he put it front and center, but he made the news report it like they were all drooling from their mouths, thinking that Donald Trump was actually on the Epstein list. And obviously, for the people that have somewhat common sense would know, if Trump had anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein, even though we see a bunch of photos of Jeffrey Epstein with Donald Trump back in the 90s, and it would be the mid 90s, before social media got involved in, platforms and internet. You can't, I'm sure Donald Trump had his business. He wasn't paying attention to what Jeffrey Epstein and his clients were doing back in the 90s. Obviously, they said Donald Trump was racist. He used to date a black model for 2 years back in 97, 98-ish. And so on and so on. But anyway, once again, I was right. I was right. So what happened? Well, everyone was playing, trolling the whole Epstein files. Now Trump is literally got Pam Bondi to expose everything. Number one, thanks to the, with the number one talk about subject in all around the world is the Epstein files now. So basically it's reverse psychology. That's all it really is. It's basic reverse psychology, with a little bit of mix and matches of 5D chess playing. And then on top of that, we all know, and if we don't know, we should know that intro video was done for a reason. And if you don't know what the reason is, obviously is the Obama gate, what Trump was saying, Obama, all roads lead to Obama. So that is being exposed. It's like the 4th of July that's happening right now, guys, with a lot of stuff happening. But once again, like I've said, the whole Elon Musk 2.0, because Elon Musk is not the real Elon Musk, the 2.0, everybody's got a role to play in order to wake up the amount of people. I almost said a bad word there. For the amount of people, will make them sound like people, to really wake up and figure out, what's going on. So I got some videos, obviously, and I've got some pictures to show everybody because, that's how I do my podcast. I'm pretty much the only person that shows videos and pictures and statements and all that good stuff. And then I talk about them, right? Just to show you what common sense is all about instead of me just, talking like an old lady at bingo. And my son, my 12-year-old son, has shown me how to do stuff like TikTok and how to do reaction videos and stuff like that. So I'm going to start to get a little bit more modernized on my videos / TikTok videos, because I'm going to get into the TikTok videos because a big percentage of people watch TikTok besides myself. And I'll be doing a lot of things on there too, to, expose the amount of corruption around the world, especially in the United States. Canada, we all know it's, with the Carney thing, he's just being exposed on a daily basis, to be honest with you. But I'm going to give you I like this person. He calls himself Anonymous, but he played this little 3-minute video, and it talks a lot about the whole Jeffrey Epstein and what's going behind the scenes and why it wasn't relevant at the time. Like I've already said, I've said this before the video even came out, of why they just can't release this stuff to the world. They have to drip it, just moderate information. So watch this 3-minute video and we'll talk about it.
Imagine this, the day after the real proof drops. Not rumors or flight logs, but undeniable footage of world leaders doing hideous, unmentionable things to children. The world reacts with horror. Governments crumble, markets collapse, chaos spreads. Why? Because when power is suddenly removed without a plan, a vacuum forms, and nature abhors a vacuum. Now imagine you hold that proof, evidence implicating presidents, billionaires, architects of global control. You could release it, or you could use it to force them to surrender, dismantle their networks, and retreat without war. That's not corruption, that's leverage. And leverage is how you remove power without triggering collapse. To the doubters who say Trump is on the list, ask yourself, if that were true, why did they deploy everything to stop him? Lawfare, fake investigations, a CIA-signed Russia hoax, even attempts on his life. If they had the leverage on Trump, they would have used it already. But they haven't, because they don't. I wish Trump didn't have to lie. I wish there were another way. Maybe this bizarre, out of sync with MAGA behavior is the wink and the nod. Maybe acting out of character is the message. This isn't about feelings. It's not about outrage or hashtags. It's about power and how it's strategically neutralized. You don't take down the Illuminati or New World Order with a lawsuit. You do it with leverage. Silent, invisible, world-shaping leverage. My friends, we are all anonymous, and welcome to the real world.
Dr. Marks here. I'm the gentleman that was on the Sean Ryan podcast that talked about pedophilia and explained how there are networks. This is coming from someone who, one, hunts pedophiles and protects children through our task force. This is the reality that I want people to understand. And the reason why the Epstein list will not come out, like I've said from the beginning, is because it is an intelligence operation. The best form of currency right now for control and power in our world is videos or pictures of children being abused by certain adults. When you have those as leverage, you can control a person to make decisions that will shape nations and truly make the difference in both political, legal, business, and world economics. The moment you prosecute a pedophile that would be on that list, you lose the leverage on them, and you also risk them telling the rest of the story.
So yeah, that, with the anonymous character, you couldn't ask for anything more of a clarification. We all know that Epstein was part of the Israel Mossad because of Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who had ties into the Israeli and Mossad. Anyway, they use, leverage, I guess you could say, to politicians, celebrities to get what they wanted. I've said this many, many times that Israel is definitely not God's people like they say they are and they think they are. Israel is really the scum, I would say, the parasites of the world, because most of the 1% of all the elites and all of them are Jewish people. To be honest with you, you can look at every CEO, every high tech, or every businessman in the multi-millions and the billionaires. They're 90% of them are all the same people. They're all Jewish, and obviously Israel's like to claim themselves to be the last people of the special people of Jesus. Even though history, Israel was never founded as a country until 1945. It's always been Palestine, and Israel was founded by the Rothschilds and Rockefellers that literally put a city/country into Palestine and named it Israel. But we all know, and we should know if you don't know by now, that it was only established not in the 1600s, that Israel was only established in the 40s. So if you don't know, well, you just learned a good history lesson from myself. So anyway, I hope you guys like that, because that's exactly what's happening and what's been happening with the Epstein files. I got a few more things to talk about the Epstein files. Again, everything is all over the place. So I'm going to be throwing bits and pieces at you with the whole Trump thing. But now they're saying with the whole thing with Trump that he was part of the list. And now they got this thing out. I think it was the CIA with Brennan, that Jeffrey Epstein and Trump were so close together that apparently Trump wrote him a happy birthday letter or card. And this is apparently, because it's funny as hell, guys. I love this movie, but check this out. Apparently, they're saying that Donald Trump drew this person, said happy birthday, and you can see his signature at the bottom saying Donald Trump, and he drew this lady with the boobs and stuff like that. And I find it, wants us to believe that Merrick Garland and Christopher Wray sat on this for 4 years exactly. Like if Donald Trump really did this drawing for Jeffrey Epstein, and they're trying to make us believe that they were sitting on this for the longest time to make us believe that if Donald Trump had any kind of relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, they would have released it a long time ago, 2016, 2017. They would have kind of pushed it, but not push it, but kind of did something about it. But definitely in 2020, he would have been smeared all over the internet when Joe Biden, the fake Biden, came into power. They would have, definitely the Democrats would have been all over that like a cheap suit. So either way, it's pretty funny to see. I just get a kick out of it. And then you see stuff like, hold on, where is it here? Okay, so yeah. So right here, you're seeing, do you all see what the white hats are doing? They are manufacturing the consent for not just the Epstein release accountability, not only the FISA Russiagate accountability, but they are also going to manufacture the consent for military incursion, We should probably hold on to our butts. Things are going to go absolutely for full retarded mode, and that's what I mean. Like it's like July the 4th. I believe the white hats are literally just boom, letting all the fireworks go. The Israel, exposing Israel, now with the Epstein list, now with the Obama. Remember, we always heard the whole saying about the first arrest will shock the world. Well, obviously, when you have, this was pretty funny. I seen this the other day, and of course I couldn't share it because I am, I'm stuck. But I think I have it, and I think I don't. Oh yeah, right here. So Barron Trump, guys, Barron Trump, Trump's son comes out and says the DOJ making preparations to indict and arrest former President Barack Obama on charges of treason, espionage, and seditious conspiracy. I hope I said that right. The Secret Service is already making preparation with federal law enforcement to work out the logistics of his historic arrest. Obama is about to become the first ever U.S. president to be charged with treason and could become the first American convicted of the high charge since the end of World War II. If convicted, he faces the rest of his life in federal prison. This comes from a reliable DOJ source, and it's going to be absolutely wild. Well, number one, that's Barron Trump. If it, the kid's not going to be stupid to go and put something slander or defame, the ex-president. I almost said a bad word there, obviously, because he would be sued to kingdom come. Obviously, and then if I'm not mistaken, I think Barack Obama or, Barry Soros is his real name. He's only made a couple posts since June that he tweeted or twittered or whatever. Him and Big Mike, his wife or / husband, they only made a couple posts since June. So obviously, I'm not going to say they're on the run, but it doesn't look good for Big Mike and Barry Soros. Let me just tell you that. So either way, it doesn't look good for them. So it's just a matter of time. But again, drip, drip, drip. And I've always said to the people, they were always waiting for that first arrest. And I always knew it would be Barack Obama. I've said it many times. For the people were saying it's Donald Trump. I'm like, no, it was definitely Barack Obama because he's the president besides George Bush that started the whole NWO baloney, and of course with George Bush Jr. doing the whole 9/11. Obviously, they can't do the 9/11. They can't come out and say, hey, by the way, the president of the United States, George Bush Jr., was involved with the 9/11, where they blew up the buildings on purpose to do a few things, bring in the fear, stop the Nazir Jazeera, blame, start a war with obviously Obama, Bin Laden. Like there's just so much, but the whole thing is the security. They're bringing the NWO, New World Order, obviously with the security, because ever since then, security has been crazy at everywhere you go. Even at the soccer fields, at baseball fields, hockey. Now they're scanning you. They're with the radar in and out. The airports are crazy. I feel like a criminal every time I travel at the international, going to the airport. I literally feel like I'm being interrogated now every time. But going to Colombia, obviously, coming back from Colombia, obviously you're going to get interrogated. So anyway, just it snowballed into a bunch of stuff. But Obama is a perfect person to advertise because he's the one that brought in the wokeism. He's the one with the Black Lives Matter. He started all of this with the pride. He started everything. And of course, I've said it once, I said it twice, I said it 1,000 times in the past 5 years on my podcast, not hidden behind closed doors. I've always said it, that Obama was and is the Antichrist, even though the real Obama is no longer with us. He's no longer with us. And I've said that 1,000 times too. The real Obama has been long gone since 2020. He made a deal with Donald Trump to save his life, even though Big Mike was gone, and messed that up and backstabbed Donald Trump. So he was, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he was hung or it was a firing squad. Either way, it wasn't good. Let's just put it this way. So anyway, that's said, that's done. And I remember a lot of people talking about this and it made me upset. And where is it? I'm trying to, oh yeah, this was a good one. Donald Trump, like 2 days, and I can't comment, guys. I can't comment on Facebook, so I can't put the people in their right place that are crapping all over Donald Trump, fellow patriots that are crapping him. Say he's bringing in the CBDC, the central banking digital currency. This is what we've been telling you and all this stuff. And I've been saying, what are you guys talking about that he's doing this and he's making crypto and talk. Listen, when Donald Trump talks about something like crypto or any kind of thing, all he's doing is putting it front and center for the world to see before he brings it down. It's reverse psychology. Look up reverse psychology. I do have a psychology degree, but the thing is I have a street smart doctorate, obviously, and a common sense, master's. So obviously, he was just doing this to show people, because look what just popped up, guys, by Benny Johnson. The House has passed a bill to prevent, all right, not prevail, prevent the creation of a central bank digital currency. That's right, CBDC. So for the people that were talking bad about Trump, that he's bringing in Bitcoin and Coinbase and CBDC. No, he's not. And for the love of God, as soon as I'm able to get back on Facebook, I'll be banning and blocking a lot of you tards that were in the last 3-4 days talking about the CBDC baloney stuff with Donald Trump being behind it. I've already said this. The whole Epstein thing, I think Trump, what he was doing was, again, draining the swamp to see who was on his side, who wasn't on his side. Again, it's like raining when all the night crawlers come out. So basically what he's doing, and he's pouring rain onto the grass, waiting for the night crawlers to come out, which are the people against him, seeing who's going to back him up and who's not. And then you have Republicans saying, I knew Epstein, he was on Epstein's file, and I'm doing this and getting away from him. And it's just exposing the amount of corruption that the Senate has. All right. Again, it's a big, long list of evil people, but the people with the common sense should know by now. All right. And it's great. This is him right here. Barack Obama is under federal criminal investigation, on the verge of being indicted. That's right, guys. On the verge of being indicted for violation of Espionage Act and conspiracy against the rights related to his role in Russiagate and spying on the President Trump's 2016 campaign. So either way, it doesn't really matter. For the people that know, they know that, Barry Soros has been no longer with us. So, but it's good to see drip, drip, drip. Another good thing, people were crapping all over him for doing this, for Donald Trump. I've been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar and Coke and the United States, and they have agreed to do so. I'd like to thank all those in authority at Coca-Cola. This will be a very good move by them. You'll see it'll just be better. And this, obviously, if anybody, people were saying, why would he say something? And there's so much things out there that he could be doing. If anybody knows about Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they had so much nanoparticles since 2018. They even signed a deal with Microsoft with their nanoparticles. Because if anybody knew or knows anything about nanoparticles, when you're drinking anything by Coca-Cola, which is also owned, Pepsi and Coca-Cola are owned by the same BlackRock company. Obviously, I remember having a fight with my manager at our Pepsi company saying, dude, just to let you know, Coca-Cola and Pepsi are owned by the same company. He was like, no, they're not. But this is the same guy that actually believed that Justin Trudeau was a good prime minister. So it was hard to argue with a libtard with that way. I didn't care if he was my manager. It didn't bother me. I say it as it is. I speak it as it is. Didn't even care if he talked to me anymore. That's the problem with me. I can't, if I can't be myself, then I'm just going to expose, get rid of the people that I know that like me, that don't like me, and we move on, and I don't have to pretend. So anyway, yeah, nanoparticles. So if you don't know what nanoparticles, look it up, but I'll give it a little short breakdown. Nanoparticles is exactly what plays in with the whole 5G tower. So the more nanoparticles in you, the worse your body kind of reacts to the frequency given out by the 5G technology, which, the more nanoparticles you have in your body, the more you're going to get stuff like blood clots, obviously, dementia, obviously turbo cancers, you name it. So anyway, nanoparticles is not a good thing. They've been injecting this in our animals for the longest time. I can't give you the exact date because I'd be lying to you. But in Coca-Cola, that signed with Microsoft back in 2018 with the fake Bill Gates, obviously, because the real Bill Gates and Melinda Gates have been gone since 2012. In case you people don't know, that's an easy look up. He's been gone since 2012. If you people are wondering, well, what do you mean he's been gone, Jeff? What do you know that we don't know? Well, Bill Gates and Melinda were vaccinated 475,000 people down in India and Africa and places like that. And those girls became crippled, like 475,000 of them became crippled. So obviously what they did is they strung them up, the villages, they strung them up and found out what he was doing to their people, and they hung him, all right? There was actually, I shared something a few years ago. I shared his obituary with him and Melinda. And if you don't believe me, for the people that are on YouTube that don't know, haven't followed me, don't believe me, look up the fellow celebrity called Kevin Klein, K-E-V-I-N, Klein, K-L-E-I-N. You'll see that celebrity. Then look up pictures of Melinda Gates. Put the picture right beside Melinda and Kevin Klein and see and go, holy burp. I never thought I would see Kevin Klein playing Melinda. That's why they divorced, because Kevin was tired of playing the role of Melinda, obviously. So we'll just leave it to that. All right. So next, I'm going to play a little video because I got a few videos with Donald Trump for exposing. Here's a minute. And actually, I got a bunch of them, guys. I'm going to play them all because time's flying by. But here's a minute and 55 seconds with Trump exposing Obama.
My friends, a high-stakes game is being played out before our eyes. This morning, President Donald J. Trump posted a photo from the Oval Office. He and Barack Obama sitting side by side. Above them, all roads lead to Obama. Below, read truth if you want public military tribunals. This isn't a meme. This isn't trolling. It's a signal. To understand it, we need to go back. First to the 8647 post from James Comey. A cryptic message. A number, 8647. Mob code for eliminate Trump. But also exactly 8,647 days after 9/11. Was that a message or a threat to the president and to us, the country? Is he saying, we did it once, we can do it again? Then Trump responds, not with panic, but with purpose. At 8:37 a.m. yesterday, the president posted a chilling video. The video Hillary Clinton does not want you to see. A documentary-style expose. Names, faces, bodies, a long trail of death, silence and suspicion. And now this. This isn't politics as usual. This is Game of Thrones, played out in real life. And the throne at stake? Global power. Trump is separating from Netanyahu. He's cutting the strings, forging peace with Arab states, without the war machine's blessing. Because Trump stands for something the globalists fear. Peace without their permission. Watch closely, because this isn't just a political battle. It's the final chapter of an empire built on lies, and the first spark of a new world rising. My friends, we are all anonymous, and the game only ends when the truth is no longer feared.
So yeah, as for that Hillary Clinton video, guys, I'm going to play it for you, for the people that are kind of, anxious to see it. What Donald Trump literally played the video to show the people exactly what he was exposing. So it's the video that obviously the fake Hillary Clinton, obviously the Democrats don't want you to see. But check this out, because Donald Trump is the one that pushed this out there.
Remember John F. Kennedy Jr.? He was declared the front runner for the New York Senate seat back in 1999. Days later, his plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and his rival, Hillary Clinton, was elected senator. Mary Mahoney was a Clinton White House intern. She knew enough of the inner workings of Bill's sexual advancements to be a star witness during the Clinton impeachment trials. She was brutally executed at a Starbucks she was managing in 1997. In 1993, White House counsel Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park near D.C. He supposedly killed himself, and among a lengthy list of potential foul play, the bullet was never found.
Then there's James McDougal, a key witness for White House prosecutors. He was serving his 3-year sentence for bank fraud at the Fort Worth Federal Medical Center in Texas. And just before he was to give a testimony before the grand jury, McDougal suffered a heart attack in solitary confinement.
In 2015, Walter Scheib, a White House chef hired under Bill Clinton, joined the list. His body was found at the bottom of a river, nearly 2 miles from the base of the trail he was reportedly hiking. An autopsy determined that Scheib's death was accidental drowning, but he might have known too much. 27-year-old Democratic National Committee staffer Seth Rich was shot and killed in D.C. this year. There is speculation that he was the source of the controversial leaked emails allegedly sent by DNC staffers, and that he may have been murdered in retaliation. Then Sean Lucas, the lead attorney in a fraud case against the DNC, was found lying on the bathroom floor by his girlfriend when she returned home on August 2nd. His death was reported classified, pending the results of an autopsy.
To this day,
So I think everyone that's been following me and obviously has common sense has known that anything that will shine Hillary Clinton in the light obviously has been found dead. I mean, the body count is close to 100, if not more, that we know of. But like I said, it's exciting. It really is. I really, for the people that have been crapping all over Donald Trump for the whole Epstein stuff, please, there's no more jumping on the train. Once you jumped off the train's in motion, and it's been going pretty damn fast. So the people that have been crapping all over him, there's no more. And at the end of the day, I don't really pay attention, to be honest with you, with other podcasters. So I don't really follow much. I just see bits and pieces here and there, but I don't really follow anybody, to be honest with you. Because obviously there's no one that's more awake than me and Roland Cerna when it comes to believing in Jesus. And we know that this is a spiritual war. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So here's a couple more things that I'm going to, his plan, I guess you could say, with the whole Epstein thing of, it's 2 minute and 27-second video. But you'll see when I say the word exposed by bringing them, front and center. So this is the news reporting it, CNN. So he's basically using the news to bring it out, because there's the people that do watch CNN are the people that are against Trump, right? So what better way to use, the crap fake news to bring out this, demand the Epstein files by these, tards of libtards and Democrats, I call them Democrats, to say, yeah, we want Trump. We know he's on that list. And all of a sudden they get all this list. And then they're like, it's the people we voted for. But anyway, check this out. It's a good video of what Trump's trying to do. And you'll get a good idea.
What a massive unforced error by the Trump administration. Donald Trump would love this story to go away. But in fact, interest is climbing higher and higher, to quote Jackie Wilson. Look at this. Google searches for Epstein up 1,200% this week versus last. And get this, it is currently the top topic search with Trump on Google alongside his presidency. So Donald Trump normally, leans into stories in which there's controversy, like tariffs, for example. This is a story in which he's trying to get away from, basically saying, why is anyone still interested in this story? But the bottom line is people are very interested in this story to historic degrees, at least this week.
Give us some perspective. You see that 1,200 number about other stories in comparison how people are viewing this one.
Yeah, okay. So, I mentioned tariffs earlier on, right? Epstein has been Googled a lot since Monday. He's actually been Googled 1.4 times as much as tariffs has been Googled, and that is, of course, a huge news story. How about Grok, which is another insane news story this week? I mean, my goodness gracious. But in fact, Epstein has been Googled 2.5 times as much as the Grok story has been Googled. So the bottom line is this is a story in which there's a lot of interest, and it's one of the few stories in which both Steve Bannon and Elon Musk are going after Trump. At least the Trump administration, he's managed to bring together two parts of the administration or two parts of the fan base that have normally been against each other.
Yeah, you can bet on anything, and this proves it. What are you seeing as far as whether or not people think that they will actually release these Epstein files?
Yeah, I know my buddy Vin from Jersey would love for the Trump administration to release more Epstein files. But get this, Trump releasing more Epstein files in 2025. This is the betting market odds. You go back 2 months ago, it was 43%. You go back even a month ago, it was 39%. But now it's just at 20%. I think that there are going to be a lot of the normally MAGA fan base who are going to be very disappointed. And this is all a self-inflicted error by Trump and the Trump administration.
Many in the administration were pushing all these conspiracy theories, promising bombshells when they got into office, and nothing.
It turns out what goes around sometimes comes around when you push conspiracy theories.
That is true. All right, Harry Enton, it is a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
Over to you, Kate.
So disgusting. What goes around comes around. So disgusting. I can't even believe people actually listen to the news. You know what? And this is the honest goodness truth. You couldn't pay me $1 million, and I really do mean this. Okay. Well, I won't say $1 million because maybe I would sit. But you can pay me $100,000 to watch CNN for an hour. And I do mean that at the bottom of my heart. Okay, $1 million, I probably would sit because I would just, I would basically have that selection hearing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be listening to it. I'd just be staring at it and then drain out the noise. But you couldn't pay me $100,000 to literally sit there and watch an hour of any kind of news, especially CNN. Literally, I remember going to a restaurant, they had the CNN news on, and I told the waitress, I said, please switch the channel before I turn the TV off, because my table was right in front of it. I couldn't imagine, like the garbage that was coming out of there. It was getting so frustrating. It's either please turn it off, change the channel, or I'm going to throw it out the window. That's how much anger I had of why I can see people hating on Trump and, the Republicans. So she switched channel, thank God, because I was, the blood pressure my face was red. But I can't even still to this very day still believe that people watch that garbage. What goes around comes around. Guys, if they're that dumb, all right, and they're dumb, all right, to even believe that anything is going to happen to Donald Trump, then that's how dumb these people really are. And I can't wait till he shuts them all down. That's what I can't wait. Because that's all that's happening. If people were asking me, why doesn't he just shut down the news right now? And I always said that too. Well, man, if I was Donald Trump, I shut down every news, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, whatever. All right, even Fox. But the problem is when you go and do that, then the problem is that also too can turn into a civil unrest, because like I said, there really is a lot of targeted people out there, okay, a lot of targeted people, and of course they're going to scream for this isn't democracy, he's a dictator, shutting down the news and stuff like that. So but for me, I do it, and anybody that would go against it or start rioting on the streets, they'd be at Crocodile alligator Alcatraz in Florida. I make another one and fill it with snakes, and I make a bunch of them FEMA camps, and I would put these people. If you think I'm a dictator, watch this. And that's the difference between me and Donald Trump. He can take the abuse. I can't. Someone talks bad about me, I want to, jump on them right there, right now. Once in a while I get a nasty comment, and most of the time I'll answer that nasty comment, and it makes me furious. But I learned now that I don't even, when I see a nasty comment, instead of putting more fuel on the fire, I just delete, block, see you later. Unfortunately, Donald Trump, gets about 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 a day on nasty comments. So obviously he's not looking at all of them, and I don't think he really cares to begin with. I know he shouldn't care, because he is doing so much right. What was this about here? So yeah, let's get back to some things in Canada, guys. Obviously, with the whole Mark Carney, he's being exposed more and more and more, as us Canadians know. I don't like talking about Canadian politics because it's boring. It's just a distraction. It gets boring. Stuff like this. apparently just in, the First Nation chiefs blast Mark Carney for a failed summit, left early and called it a disaster and a display of colonialism. Too bad the First Nations overwhelmingly voted for Carney to, you get what you get. So obviously, I really don't care about natives. I don't care about the feathers in their hats. If you want the Archie Bunker coming out of me, there's not one smart native out there. There really isn't a smart native out there. It's like having a carrot in front of a donkey. They'll just go wherever that carrot goes. Well, it's the same thing with the natives. You show them a bottle of liquor, or you show them a case of cigarettes, or the casino in front of them with money. They're gonna go wherever that is, right? So basically what I'm saying, they're mostly donkeys. And most of the chiefs, if not 90% of them, and I'm going to give it even a higher number, but I'll say 90% of them are stealing from the reserves anyway, to be honest with you. But I've never really met a smart native, to be honest with you. I don't care if you might say, yeah, I've got a neighbor that grew up on the reserve. That's pretty smart. But you know what? If you take them, we'll say 100,000 natives, I bet there's probably a handful. So to me, I'm not going to say 100% of them, but I'm going to say a good 95% of them are very not, are not bright people to begin with. They're just, so when you see the chiefs here complain about Mark Carney now, what else did you guys think that this person was going to do with the Liberal parties? But you guys don't care because you guys get free handouts anyway by the Liberal Party. So that's the whole point. But it looks like Mark Carney might not be giving you free handouts. That's why you guys are all up in an uproar. Either way, it's the truth. Don't care. And trust me, my grandparents are native, fully native, to be honest with you. And you want to see how native they are, throw some liquor in front of them and see what happens to the family when they're all liquored up. I mean, the fights, police are going to definitely be involved, but the fights and the punches in the faces with family. So we have native in us, trust me, because my grandparents were fully native. So I know everything when it comes to native. Would I live on the reserve? Hell no, you couldn't give me the amount of money to go live on a reserve. Don't care. Would never care. It doesn't bother me. I'm not a lazy person also. So speaking of that, obviously this was a common sense question. So thousands of Canadian businesses will no longer hire Canadians. And I'm just letting the American family know this. This is a true fact, guys, that thousands of Canadian businesses will no longer hire Canadians because the government gives them financial incentives to hire people who are not from Canada. That's 100%. It's not 90%, it's 110%. Please explain to me again why I would have any interest in buying Canadian. That, again, with the whole elbows up bull crap, is a good common sense question. Is why the hell would I support Canadian businesses when they're not even hiring Canadians? Because the government is using our tax-paying dollars to hire the immigrants. Because I see this all the time. You'll see someone on walking around with doing an interview. Canadians are lazy people. They're talking to Pakistans and Punjabis and Africans. Besides the natives, Africans are the second laziest ethnic race in the entire world. That you can look up a statistics and you're going to see that off the chart. Obviously, as long as it's not a liberal statistic. So anyway, and they'll say that we're taking the jobs because Canadians are just lazy. They don't want these jobs. I can't speak Paki. I wish I could. I really wish I could. I could do a whole comedy shows just speaking Pakistan. But the thing is, it's not Canadians are lazy, you dumb. It's the fact that businesses are getting incentives up to from 40 to 70%, and some businesses are even getting 100%. All right, I won't support Tim Hortons. I don't know why anybody would support Tim Hortons. Stop going to Walmart. Please stop going to Walmart. For the people, I know people sometimes have no choice because of what the Liberal Party has done for money wise. But if you can, don't go to Tim Hortons. At least go somewhere else for your coffee. All right, stop supporting companies like Tim Hortons, even though Tim Hortons is owned by a personal buddy of mine. I think he owns like 35, 36 of them. And even though he's a buddy of mine, there's having morals and being a Canadian. All right. And you're going to have your morals and be Canadian, but you're also a traitor at the same time, because you're going to make more money by hiring immigrants than having morals and paying regular Canadians. All right. like I said, money is the greed of all evil. So either way, bad things are going to come to him. Mr. Corey that owns the Tim Hortons, you watch and see. I wouldn't be surprised one day you wake up and you find out you have cancer, because that's just pretty much karma coming knocking at your door. Because that's what money does to people. It brings the worst out of people. And speaking of the worst out of people, check this out, guys. You're not hearing the news talk about this, but apparently Elections Canada admits that 121,000 ballots went uncounted. But you're not going to see that anywhere in the news. 121,000. Now, let's keep in mind, guys, that might not sound like a lot, but we also got to admit and remember that Carney only won by over 400,000 ballots, which we know there's no way that Carney won in the first place. All right. But when 121,000 is uncounted, you can pretty much guarantee that there was a lot more that was uncounted. And I like to say a lot more, like close to 500,000, 600,000, 700,000. It's going to come out just like it did for the United States. This is just history repeats. Look at when the United States in 2021, when the ballots start popping up, coming out, and they're finding it in the dumpsters and stuff like that. But that was all right. That's all right. United States had to go through 4 years of turmoil to be exposed. And Canada, unfortunately, are going to go through the same thing. And you know what? I'm up for it. I'm up for it. To be honest with you, I know not a lot of people are up for it, but I am. I'm up for this stuff. I'm up to feel the pinch and the pain, even though I don't deserve it. So yeah, that was just a doctor saying, what was this again? This person saying, if you're unvaccinated at this point, you're asking to be hospitalized or worse. Obviously, Grant Wall, a longtime U.S. soccer writer, best known for his work at Sports Illustrated, collapsed during a World Cup match last Friday in Qatar and later was pronounced dead. Well, good for you, my friend. You want to push the vaccinated and try to shame us, and then you die of a heart attack. All the power to you. There is no sympathy or empathy that comes to me. I seen something the other day. One of my friends passed away yesterday from cancer. Sad. He was my age. Great guy. I don't know if he's vaccinated because I never really asked him. But then I went through his profile and I was looking at his profile because I wanted to bring up memories of him because he really was a good guy. Great baseball player too. I always loved it when he used to look at me and you say, "Gallant, what are you up to, Gallant?" And he never called me my name, Jeff, because he had the same name, Jeff. So he always called me by my last name, which was great to hear his voice. And we used to have fun playing ball with each other or against each other, either way. And I went through his profile. Anyway, he on one of his statuses back in March, it said something, "Rest in peace" to a female. And then I was kind of curious, so I double-clicked the female's name, and she died anyway, young girl, probably in her early 40s, if not late 30s. And I was like, okay, let's see if Jeff Freedom is right here. So I was scrolling by, just waiting to see that one picture that would say proudly vaccinated. And I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. It's 23 and getting the pictures to 22. And then all of a sudden I get to 20, 21. And sure enough, proud picture of her saying fully vaccinated. And I was like, bingo. I knew I was right. Then another person that's a friend of my girlfriend's who is a school teacher. And apparently she has a tumor in her brain, obviously cancer, stage cancer. And all of a sudden I'm like, let's just check this out. And she looked terrible. The picture that she's showing of her in the hospital looks terrible. So I'm looking at her pictures, just waiting to see. And sure enough, she's got the LGBTQ and proud and pride and then stand up for Ukraine. And then sure enough, stay home. It could keep you safe. And I just like, bam. When are these people going to learn what the vaccinations has done, even though RFK has literally came out and stated that the vaccinations killed during an interview with Bill Maher. I think you pronounce it, Bill Maher, Maher, M-A-H-E-R. I don't know, some late night guy, whatever, Bill Maher, who's a true Democrat. And RFK literally just said that killed people, not whatever, killed people. And Bill's like, well, not killed. He goes, yes, killed. Now, RFK is not going to go and say killed, obviously, because that's defamation and slander. He could get sued, right? He could lose everything. So why would he go and say that unless he knew something, right? What we all knew, right? All the people that didn't take the fake vaccination, which is AKA depopulation, the agenda, depopulation, or sorry, it's not called a depopulation, it's sustainable development is what they like to call it. So anyway, guys, that will be it for tonight. I'm sorry once again I had to do this to you, pre-recorded, but it is what it is. But at least Freedom Sean's gonna share this on my wall. Again, you need to follow me and add me on Rumble, because this is on Rumble and this is on YouTube. So on Rumble, obviously, it's at The Canadian Dawn, all in one word, at The Canadian Dawn. Look at the bottom of the screen, at The Canadian Dawn. And on YouTube, it's called The Canadian Dawn. D-O-N, like Donald Trump, like Don Cherry. Either way, I like it. It's a good catch. And those are my two favorite men in the entire world, Donald Trump and Don Cherry, who would have been the best prime minister that Canada has ever had. And speaking of that, I'm going to give you this little 18-second video of Donald Trump, and he says a word. I want you guys to hear if you can hear that word, and give me a thumbs up if you did. But please do. It's 18 seconds. Let's hear it.
The only thing that's really sacred about August 1st is that's when payments start. So they have to start paying billions of dollars to you and people. Are you a citizen of the country? All right, good. You'll be very happy because you're going to be getting a lot of money.
Did you guys hear that? Well, if you guys didn't hear what he just said for August 1st, let's do the 18-second video again. This should put a smile on your face. But obviously, there's going to be, obviously the Democrats are going to try their best to put as much wars to stop the payments of Nazira Jazera, what I've been telling people, but I never give dates. Here we go again.
The only thing that's really sacred about August 1st is that's when payments start. So they have to start paying billions of dollars to you and people. Are you a citizen of the country? All right, good. You'll be very happy because you're going to be getting a lot of money.
So anyway, I thought I would close out the show with a little bit of that to get the people going. I hope you guys loved tonight's show. Again, sorry for it, guys, for had to do the pre-record it. But you guys can comment and talk among each other as it goes. I mean, I like it. I like it when I have my crowd together, my family together, and I can chit chat with you guys and see your messages. But it is what it is. You guys got today's week's news, common sense, and I guarantee it's the only truth. You shouldn't even be listening to any other podcast. I don't care if it's the Tanya, the Truth Seeker. I don't care if it's Moose on the Loose. I don't care if it's the Pleb. None of those people know anything more than I do when it comes to world politics. I've been doing this for many, many years. As for other people that decide to move down to Texas so she can gain TikTok money, because that's the only reason why she moved to Texas, not about the oil field like she tells people, and then she's sharing products to share online. Only if you can see the phonies and fakes, people, just to let you know, you'll know who I'm talking about. And hate me as it is, I just talk about truth with with no filter. But if you can't see it, then sorry, maybe you shouldn't be watching me, because either way, it's just common sense. Anyway, I love you guys all. Here's a little Dropkick Murphys to get you guys going on your Monday, and have a great week. And if any other good news comes, I'm off Facebook ban tomorrow, apparently. We'll see what happens. I love you guys all. We'll see you guys back next Monday. And to my family in Colombia, adios, amigos. You hold the line. People hold the line, like Don Cherry says. You people is what Don Cherry would say. And I love you guys all. We'll talk to you guys back next Monday night. Adios.
at the top.